All right, guys, welcome back. I apologize for not showing my face on YouTube for several months. I went through this whole dilemma of trying to figure out what exactly I want this channel to be about. And I quickly realized that this channel, I wanted to be a vlogging channel and just share my journey, a personal development, and sharing my story and documenting my day-to-day life. It's really hard when you're in a season of growth and you're learning a lot about yourself, and it's hard to stick to a certain niche. Like, I'm a wedding videographer for trade, right? That's what I do. That's how I pay the bills, and I'm passionate about it and I love it, but I have other interests. And I think I'm gonna still talk about cameras, whether it be in this channel or on my actual business YouTube channel, which is called Sundial Creatives. And if you're interested all about weddings, I think I'm gonna be creating content on that channel specific to that. But in this channel, I am going to compartmentalize my personal development and talk about business and talk about personal growth in terms of what I'm going through and what I'm learning on this journey called life and entrepreneurship. And it's not easy at all. If you don't know, and if you're new to the channel, my name is Javier. I'm a wedding videographer. I've been doing wedding videography now for 8 years. I've dabbled a little bit into commercial, but I don't think I know my specialty is wedding videography. And I've created this channel in the beginning, really testing out cameras and just showcasing the differences between FX3, Canon C70s. But I came to this realization that I am passionate about it, but I don't want to use this channel just to talk about gear and just talk about cameras. I think that's everywhere, right? And for me personally, if I'm gonna continue this, and I want to add as much value as possible, and I think there's already fantastic creators out there who add immense value when it comes to the world of videography and photography and talking all things camera. I may talk some of that stuff here, but this is going to be very much more vlog style and taking you guys into pretty much not a day in the life, but a week in the life of myself and the journey that I'm going through. I'm heading into 2025, and right now I am thinking about my business goals. What do I want to accomplish? And also reflecting what I went through through 2024. And I want to bring you guys along and invite you into this journey. So some of these videos may be very long, some of them may not be. It depends what I have to offer and to say to you throughout this week. There's a creator out there that I really love, that he's creating a filmmaking series and talking about his business and the way he vlogs about his business and his opportunities when he's going out trying to get leads and trying to get certain customers and his ideas. And I love that style of content. And I think it adds so much value because it's real, it's genuine. And that's what I really want to do with this channel. I want to be able to grab this camera real quick, which I just purchased, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, and I'm excited to test this out. Hopefully you guys like the audio, but regardless, I want to pick up something run and gun, not use my FX3, not my Canon C70 for this type of content. Just quickly pick up a camera and share the value or the experience or the trouble that I'm having, and hopefully you guys can give me insight too. All right, something I quickly realized this year for me was a year of refinery, meaning going through the trenches to really refine my vision, my goals, and who I am as a person. This year has been pretty hard. To give you context, my business back in 2022 and 2023 was very much more volume based. I did 100 weddings in 2022 and about 63 weddings in 2023. And I was very overwhelmed. I was a one-man team, for the most part running operations, but I did have a team of associates who did help me to fulfill these weddings. I had an editor, and then I had one editor, and then they left, and then I was able to secure a second editor actually out of Great Britain, which was really cool to have someone overseas edit some of my wedding films, and just to help with the workload. But with that being said, as you guys know, when it comes to scaling a business, it's not easy, it's very hard. My brand at that time was very, very much a volume-based brand. Price points were around anywhere from $3,000 to up to $5,500, and sometimes breaking into the $6,500 mark during that period in time. And then life happened. My wife got pregnant. We already had a child already. And then unfortunately, my son got kicked out of daycare, well, my wife being pregnant. So just the situations of life, pretty much. My wife became a stay-home mom. We had our daughter, which is amazing. She'll be turning 2 here shortly. And then our son got kicked out of daycare. So, which also, again, the reasoning of why my wife became a stay-at-home mom, to watch our son, because finding childcare is so hard. And with that happening and the pressure of one, just providing for your family, to all my, dads out there, husbands out there working their butts off to provide for their family as a single income, I highly respect you, because it's not easy. You carry all the load, all the pressure. Luckily with us, with my wife, the business was going really well. And also we had a really good savings, and just we were blessed for the opportunity to be able to do that. And we only did that for a whole year, because I was quickly seeing the market shift in terms of the wedding side. I didn't want to continue doing a volume brand, just to manage people, manage and delegate and scale this. Truly wasn't my passion. And also, I did care about the art. I think if you're going to build a volume brand, you got to care for systems and money, but at the same time, art. And if you're an artist and you love to create and actually edit these things, it becomes hard to hand it off to someone else. So I made the decision to scale it down. But also with that, there was a shift in the market where there wasn't the volume of weddings out there anymore. There's surpluses because of COVID, and things started normalizing, and these relationships are going to take up. So pretty much the market has evened out. To keep the story short, that's what it's done so far. And I'm now at the crossroads of this past year is of pretty much defining my brand of what I want to offer, which is a personal experience of myself being the creative who is shooting and editing these films. But also I have goals and aspiration. I turned 30 this year, and I quickly learned that I want to build something else for the future. So I started 2 other companies. One other company is still in the groundworks, so it hasn't launched yet, where we're going to create documentary films, and I'm still figuring out the problem that we're solving with that. I think for me, it's inspired by God. I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, and that was really God inspired. And I started it, but I am taking my time with it to making sure it's done properly, it's guided by the Holy Spirit, and also what is the problem that God has that He's going to provide the solution for. And so I'm taking my time, and I think that's one of the projects where I want it to be my life's work. Secondary, started a podcast. Ashley and I, who's a photographer, and she actually is one of my brides, one of my clients, for 2025 coming up for her wedding. And we started a podcast together. And it's been really, really awesome to work with someone else. We developed this awesome friendship. And within that friendship, now we've created this podcast called the 2717 Podcast, based on Proverbs 27:17, as iron sharpens iron, so one sharpens another. And that right there is exciting. And so we started a podcast we launched in September, and we've done about 16 episodes so far, and it's going very well. And so if you want to follow us, you can. And I'll probably share more about the podcast here or on my other channel at Sundial Creatives. But it's been a cool, fascinating experience starting the podcast and building it. Comes with its challenging, and we're trying to make it very unique because we're filming everything in person, having all our guests in person, and God has really opened the doors in terms of providing, just a space for us to film. Luckily, I have all the equipment to film at a high level, but at the same time, we didn't have a reasonable space. So one of my friends, Kayla, she provided her studio, and then another friend provided her venue, bridal suite, for us to film in. And it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's only 5 minutes from my house, which is pretty insane. So I'm grateful for Julie allowing us to use her space. With all that being said, I am excited to share this journey, sharing everything that I am learning and I'm gathering and what I have learned. Again, like I said, last year was a year of refinery. For me, it was about relationships, understanding what I wanted to go after, what I wanted to accomplish, and a lot of self-discovery. And so a lot of this is for me to look back on and just to see the growth I've had over the this upcoming year in 2025, but also share it with you guys. And if you're in a similar position, or if you're starting on your passion and you really want to go after it and you want to figure out how to make that happen, my goal is just to share my journey, share what I'm doing, and what I've learned from this so far. And if there's one thing that I wish that when I first got into becoming a business owner was shadowing somebody who has a business. And I think YouTube really gives that opportunity, and to follow one's journey, one's story, and to see that it's not a luck, or it's a lot of hard work. It's really when it's, luck when hard, what's it called? Preparation meets hard work equals luck, or something like that. And at the end of the day, it takes a lot of work and sacrifice to be able to make your dreams come true. And if you have the opportunity to do that, make it happen. It's worth it. It's hard and it's not easy. And so with that being said, I am writing out my goals that I want to accomplish. And everything that I do starts with a why. Ask questions. This past year, I was like brain fogged because of this refinery process and having troubles with certain relationships. So that's one of those things where if you have relationships within your own like industry that you're in, be wise with who you share with, who you connect with, and be smart with that. People will disappoint you, and it's okay. That's why I put all my trust in God. But it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt you, right? And so when it does hurt you, is going through that process of letting it go, moving on, becoming that not bigger person, but forgiving them so that you can move on. You don't have to forget what they did to you or whatever may have happened, but it's just for you it's good to move it on and forgive. That way you can continue your growth. So that's huge. And it's good for your mental health. Secondary was really taking the time to understand yourself and why you do what you do. I had to understand, for example, why do I even do wedding videography? Why am I called to do this? And realizing quickly that this is where God wants me. And this is the reason why, the value that I place on people and family, and the privilege of documenting one's journey, right? And it fulfills a creative venture in me in terms of like, hey, I love creating, I love using cameras, and I love creating films that create emotions. And so I learned quickly not to put myself in a box. I think everybody says niche down, and I think it is a good advice. But if you're the one creating, you're an artist, the worst thing to do as an artist, I think, is putting yourself in a box and labeling yourself as a certain type of filmmaker. And so I had to quickly realize that, like, I don't like to do that. I like to adapt to the situation, to the couple, because I literally feed off of emotions. That's how I create. I attach myself to the emotion of the couple, of who they are and how their relationship is. And I try to create a film that resembles that. And that's, for me, what creates authentic filmmaking, or genuine filmmaking, is when I can attach myself to that couple and make a film that represents them both the best. And so that's what I learned and what I discovered. And so I removed and redesigned my website from it being a very light and airy and calling myself as a luxury filmmaker and just showcasing details and just showcasing like the beauty, materialistic things of a wedding day. Instead, I started now rebranding and changing my colors, created a logo that represents me. And me is pretty much hey, I love capturing emotions. I love capturing the fun of the wedding day. I love capturing the beauty of the wedding day, whether if I'm using anamorphic lenses or if I'm using these regular spherical lenses. I want to showcase it in a cool, creative way. And so I discovered all this part. Now the challenge is it viable in the marketplace? Is what I'm creating actually solves a problem? In this past year, I forgot about what the problem is that I'm solving. Instead, I focus all about me. And I think that's a good combination, but also can be very bad. Because at the end of the day, you're providing a service. So what's the problem that you're solving for that couple? And so that's what my focus is for today, is business planning for Sundial Creatives and seeing what is the problem I'm solving for couples in 2025. The market changes and the needs of that market will always continue to evolve, and so that means I must as well. based on who I want to cater to, I know that my profile of a couple is very much one that cares about quality, cares about genuine authenticity. But at the end of the day, do I meet the price point that they're wanting? And am I solving their actual problem? And yeah, so I did align myself and I did create some things to be strategic this upcoming year. But I'm going to focus on that right now and start creating just a plan for this upcoming year in terms of what are these goals. And I'm going to share those with you here too as well and document this journey here. So stay tuned. I think this is going to be a fun YouTube series, and just keeping myself accountable to you all. I also want to improve this upcoming year in 2025, my health. I want to be much more active. I want to get fit again. I want to lose a certain amount of weight, because I used to be a rock star of an athlete, and I'm not that anymore. So, and just spend time with family and document as much as I possibly can with this adventure. So, if you heard all of this, again, I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel. I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna share the truth that probably no one else will ever hear unless you follow this channel. So drop a like, drop a comment, and welcome to my life. So I've just downloaded, so I'm planning out my content calendar for this upcoming year for 2025. And I lacked last year just posting at all in terms of in my business side. I did post consistently like my trailers and wedding films and some behind the scenes, but there wasn't a lot of intentionality behind it. And one thing I want to do different this upcoming year is try to add as much significant value. And I'm hoping it works for the Instagram algorithm. And most importantly, I'm not trying to like blow up and go crazy viral, but what I am trying to do is trying to attract the couples that value what I am posting. And so my mindset and approach right now is honestly creating things that are educational and try to add a lot of value in that. So like either calling out to, hey, if you're a bride, save this 101, here's a tip for you or something like that. Secondary is going to be showing real moments of real couples, genuine moments that happen on wedding day. So while I'm editing, trying to make reels out of those. And so one of the beauty things that I did last year was change my deliverable time up to 6 months. So this gives me ample time to not just work on the wedding films and be in the business, but also work on the business to keep getting weddings. So that's huge. So having that kind of allows me to have the freedom of go back and create content days and try to do bulk edits as much as possible. That way I don't take up too much time. So possibly within a month, dedicate 2 days just to content creation for reels and also, or mainly for reels, and try to do YouTube videos if I can. I mean, this is kind of separate for it, but for the business side of things, I really want to create those bulk edits. So those short form deliverables up to 1 minute, 30 seconds, stuff like that, and try to have as much as possible for Sundial Creatives. So that's what I am working on right now. I just purchased a Notion template off of Etsy for $3. And let me show you guys right now. I think this is, so I don't know how well you guys can see this here, but it's pretty cool because it just has everything laid out in terms of Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Pinterest. I'm only going to be focusing on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And so for YouTube, we're going to be for those longer videos that I'll be making, not on this YouTube channel, but on the Sundial Creatives. And those are going to be educational tips for couples specifically. And then TikTok and Instagram are kind of pretty much going to be the same content. It has your socials here, content planner, you got ideas section. Let me see what else it has here. Resources, performance, competitors, just to draw inspiration. And this, guys, like what's insane about this is that this was just literally only $3. So if you need a place to be able to organize and structure your content, like just go ahead, go on. If you have Notion already, I highly recommend it. Not sponsored by them at all whatsoever. I've been using them now for the past, let's say, 3 years. And so once I got introduced to it, you can find templates on Etsy for the low, cheap and resourceful and useful. So that's just a quick tip when it comes to planning out content. I'm going to obviously keep you guys updated on how well I do this, but I think it's going to be amazing. I can just finally, offload all the ideas I have in my brain, and just try to organize as much as possible to be able to execute. I think organization, when you just have everything laid out, the only thing else you got to do is actually execute it, act on it, and making it as easy as possible by already seeing the idea, writing everything out, what I wanted to convey in the message. That way I don't go on rambling like I am now, but just want to share that because I think that's pretty cool. All right, so I don't know how well this is going to work, but I'm just going to walk all the way over here. And maybe it's tracking me, which I think it completely lost me because it's nighttime. Oh wow, it's pretty insane. It's following me. Right? Yeah, if this content stuff don't work, I'm returning it instantly.
Because yesterday, maybe not yesterday, but the day before. Recently, you said that you weren't going to make any more purchases.
Yeah.
And then you have a new camera.
Yeah.
You need to return it. I don't know why you bought it in the first place.
Well, I'm going to try to create this content, all this stuff. That's the whole goal of it.
You're trying to say that
but
you're
I'm also
experimenting. And this and that, and you're going to make better decisions, and you just made another purchase.
Yes, dear. Yes, I did.
I'm not hopeful for change.
I'd rather be called out, and I also would like at least have the opportunity to hopefully be able to prove you wrong. And the one thing I really want to go for this upcoming year is to put myself out there and do anything and everything that's possible to support our family. And I know it sounds contradictory really right now with what I did, but I literally scheduled out all the content I'm gonna do. Now I just need to execute. Now that I want you to hold me accountable to the highest degree, because I got no excuses. And I can't let my feelings get in the way of creating or doing all this stuff. And so I'm gonna do everything that I've never done before.